Hey guys, and welcome to The Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
And I'm Marcia Parker.
And this is our spoiler review of the movie Behind the Mask, The Rise and Fall of Leslie Vernon. So, Marcia, this movie had a couple of interesting twists in it. I mentioned in the regular review that it went from documentary-ish to regular movie-ish. And it's interesting. What happens is they're sitting there waiting, and Leslie goes and does his first kills, the couple that's sleeping together in the next room.
Right.
And he comes back in, and they're all kind of shell-shocked, like, oh my God, is this really happening? And he's like, come with me outside. And so they go outside, and he takes them to the van, and he's like, go, just go. And they're like, why? And he's like, because you have that I can't let this happen look in your eyes.
Why are you doing this?
Because you have a look.
What look?
The we can't just stand here and let this happen look.
So just go, and basically that's what happens. She looks at them and she's like, I can't let this happen. And so she's like, that's it, documentary's over. And the camera cuts to black, and then it goes to a more standard camera angle where they pull up and they show the camera crew putting the cameras away in the back of the truck, and you see the camera crew for the first time, and then it becomes a regular movie. And so they go in and try and stop because why? Leslie has laid out what's gonna happen.
Right, they think, oh, I know exactly what's gonna happen. I can stop this from happening.
Exactly, he told us where he's gonna be, when he's gonna be there, so we can go and stop him ahead of time.
But the funny thing is when they go in there, they're like, well, where's Kelly? You know, the virgin, the survivor girl.
The final girl, exactly.
Oh, she's upstairs banging away, you know, so I guess she's not really a virgin, because, I mean, she was doing some things that I didn't learn for a while.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, exactly. And so they're like, wow. I wasn't expecting that. Marcia Parker, ladies and gentlemen, now you know why she's on the show. So they realize, wait, she's not a virgin, so this isn't part of Leslie's plan.
No,
or maybe it is part of it.
No, they didn't think so.
They didn't think so, really?
They thought he didn't know, so they were trying to be quiet about it, you know?
That's true.
It wasn't until after, she died.
Right.
And then they realized he was still going after him.
Exactly, and they realize eventually that it's not that girl that he was after, it was actually the reporter the entire time. She eventually reveals that she's a virgin too.
Yeah.
And that she's the one that has been the setup the entire time, but they just never realized it.
And that was a good acting scene too, because she was very emotional about it. She's like, I can't believe this guy totally duped me.
Absolutely.
I am screwed.
So then Leslie starts to stalk the whole crew, and it was all part of his plan. And there was actually a cool moment, because one of the cameramen, one of the rules that Leslie tells them is no one gets away.
Right.
And so the cameraman's like, you guys go, I'll take off, because he's like, Leslie, follow me. He's like, no one gets away, rule number 1, remember? And so he takes off.
Leslie, no one gets away, rule number 1.
And then Leslie tracks him down, and he gets him on the ground, and they're face to face, and he's got a knife over his head, and he's like, Leslie, don't, you know, we're friends, we're friends. It's me. And then he just reaches down and just breaks his neck.
Snap.
So it was really cool. And the last spoiler is at the end, what happens when he finally faces off against her in the shed.
It's actually kind of funny because he did foreshadow. He foreshadowed it, and when he was going through where everybody's going, where it was leading to, it was an apple cider grinder thingy.
It was to make cider, so you put apples in it and it grinds.
Yeah, and she goes, what's gonna happen with this? He's like, I'm gonna make apple cider. And she actually ends up putting his head in the apple grinder.
Which is essentially a huge vice.
It's a press, it's like a press. And it just...
And she, cranks it down, and that's where the sound effects Marcia was talking about.
Yeah, and then, and she catches the whole thing on fire, and she gets away.
So you think that's it, and then the credits roll.
Yeah, should you say anything about what happens in the credits?
It's a spoiler episode. Spoiler episode. The cool thing about it is he idolized all these supernatural serial killers, the ones that kept coming back. He gets his head crushed at the end of the movie, and you're like, oh, that's the end of Leslie. The during credits scene is you see the morgue, and there's a coroner working in the morgue, and they wheel in this body, and it's all this burnt, crispy Leslie body, and it's just laying there, and the coroner turns around and goes to the desk, and you see Leslie sit up, and then it cuts to black.
Yeah, so he gets to be a curse.
He gets to be his own his own legend. Everything was planned, so.
He was like the best planner ever. He thought of every single detail. It was awesome.
It was great.
Such a fun movie. I'm so glad I watched it.
That's Behind the Mask, The Rise and Fall of Leslie Vernon. That was our spoiler review of it, you guys. Check it out. It's worth your time. Trust us. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe the video.
And follow us on Twitter at HorrorShow666.
Check out our podcast or email us. The links are down below. And remember, guys, the most important thing is to always
stay scared.